The Alabama Department of Public Health is determining what risk level counties are facing with COVID-19. I'll break it down for you coming up.
And trending warmer than average over the next 8 to 14 days. I'll break down the heat coming up in a bit.
And Auburn University has released plans for safely reopening campus. Find out their plan to keep students safe.
Coverage you can count on. This is WTVM News Leader 9.
Hello and welcome to News Leader 9 Saturday morning. I'm Samantha Serbin. Katie Kamen has the morning off. As we come on air this morning, the coronavirus surging on several fronts. Cases, hospitalizations, and deaths. Dr. Deborah Birx now warning more lives will be lost. More than 3 million confirmed cases here in the U.S. 133,000 Americans have already succumbed to the disease. ABC's Karina Mitchell has the story of mounting pressure on political leaders as some morgues struggle to keep up with the growing number of bodies.
As the coronavirus death toll continues rising in at least 17 states, places like Fry Chapel Mortuary in Southern California using refrigerators for bodies for the first time ever, struggling to keep up with the growing number.
An average month used to be between 45 and 50, and now we're into the hundreds.
Sheila Kruger owns the mortuary, her staff suffering from the virus as well.
We lost 6 of our staff to COVID.
You had 6 of your staff members out because of COVID.
6 of 8.
Even though President Trump told Telemundo Friday the U.S. was, quote, winning the war against the virus, White House Coronavirus Task Force Coordinator Dr. Birx making it clear more cases will mean more deaths.
We have not seen this result in increased mortality, but that is expected as the disease continues to spread in some of our large metro areas.
Some of those cases and deaths affecting children. In Florida, the youngest deaths in the state believed to be 2 11-year-olds, including Daquan Wimberly. The president traveling throughout South Florida yesterday, a state with 11,000 new infections and 92 deaths in just the past day, again foregoing wearing a mask. In Texas, Benisa Marinez's 6-month-old daughter just released from the hospital after surviving the virus. That state setting records for deaths and hospitalizations with more than 10,000 COVID patients. Texas Governor Abbott saying they're running out of time. And while parents struggle to protect their children from the virus, young adults are faced with watching their parents battle the disease. Kristen Urqueza in Arizona losing her dad, Mark, after a 3-week struggle.
I feel as if my father was robbed of his life and that his illness was completely preventable.
According to the CDC, the Latino community is disproportionately affected by the coronavirus. This obituary Kristen wrote now going viral, writing, quote, his death is due to the carelessness of the politicians who continue to jeopardize the health of brown bodies through a clear lack of leadership and refusal to acknowledge the severity of this crisis. Karina Mitchell, ABC News, New York.
And we have some encouraging new research on the COVID-19 drug remdesivir. This research shows it significantly reduced the risk of death by 62% compared to the current standard of care. It also showed almost 75% of patients treated with remdesivir recovered in 14 days compared to 59% of patients that didn't get the drug. Alabama counties in our viewing area are considered high or very high risk by the Alabama Department of Public Health when it comes to the spread of COVID-19 in the community. According to the ADPH, the risk category is determined by the number of new cases in the county per day and the trends we see in those numbers over a period of time. If you take a look at this map, Russell County is considered very high risk, Lee and Barber County is considered high risk, and Chambers County is considered a moderate risk.
So if you're at the low end, then it's really not a lot happening and it's fairly safe. You still should use precautions. But if you get up into the high or the very high, then there's a lot of community transmission going on. So that means that there's a lot more people walking through your neighborhoods and the malls and the stores who are infected and may not know it or don't care and are out there spreading this disease around.
For counties with very high risk, in addition to regular social distancing and hygiene practices, the ADPH recommends policies like working from home and avoiding travel and in-person church services. In an effort to curb new coronavirus cases, a mandatory curfew is underway in the city of Eufaula. Mayor Jack Tibbs says it seems like some folks are letting their guards down when it comes to the coronavirus and not taking into account common sense safety. The curfew goes into effect at 10 p.m. and runs through 5 in the morning. There are a couple of exceptions, though, for work or medical purposes and for folks traveling through the city to another location. The idea is to keep the people of Eufaula and Barber County as safe as possible.
Well, you know, Barber County has been listed as a high-risk county now for the coronavirus, and I felt like we had some success in the previous curfew. So to maybe bring focus back to everyone in our community about the severity of the risks that are out there, we put the curfew back on.
According to the order, folks who violate this curfew could face a fine up to $500 or up to 180 days in jail.
I'm not as concerned as much as the number of cases. In fact, quite honestly, I want to see more people because we start reaching an immunity.
Those comments Thursday from State Senate leader Del Marsh getting a lot of attention. The Anniston lawmaker saying he wanted more people to get the coronavirus. Yesterday, Senator Marsh telling our sister station in Birmingham he didn't say what he meant.
It was a poor choice of words on my end, but the ultimate, what I was trying to say, and people are going to look at it, there are very few choices we have. Ultimately, if there's no vaccine, herd immunity is the only one I can think of that's eventually going to take place.
Marsh says he wants people to protect themselves by socially distancing. He says he doesn't think another shutdown of the state is appropriate. And we'll have a check of the weather with meteorologist Anna Sims.
Hey Samantha, we started out nice and warm across the Chattahoochee Valley this morning. 77 for that low temperature in Columbus, 79 in Americus. And we are continuing to heat up into the late morning hours. 81 in Columbus, but once you factor in all that humidity, feeling like 84 in Americus, but that heat index value checking in around 90 degrees this morning. So definitely a hot one across the valley this morning, and that heat isn't going anywhere. The extended outlook showing us running above average temperatures in the next 8 to 14 days. Today, heating up nicely into the afternoon. A few clouds around, but mostly sunny skies with highs in the mid to upper 90s. And over the next few hours, getting nice and hot for your Saturday afternoon. We'll check out the rain in the forecast and keep tracking that heat coming up in a bit. Samantha?
Thanks, Anna. Auburn University has released plans for safely reopening campus. Gray TV News reporter Jordan Elston has more on the university's plan to keep students safe.
Auburn University has released A Healthier You. The 32-page document details plans for a safe return to campus this fall.
It also provides a roadmap for continuing Auburn's exceptional academic, research, and student life program. In fact, we're expecting to see full enrollment that would hit our targets this fall.
The plan breaks down a modified academic calendar that eliminates fall break and ends instruction before Thanksgiving, with final exams administered remotely. Health protocols also include physical distancing and limits on large gatherings.
Requirements for face coverings inside university buildings. We'll have new procedures for entrance and exits into university buildings. There are guidelines on physical distancing, covering your sneezes. We're also going to limit classroom capacity to 50%.
Shared spaces will also see new safety measures.
There will be increased and enhanced cleaning and disinfection, not only in residence halls, but also around campus and other high traffic areas. We're going to have set aside certain residence hall space. So if there is a student who lives on campus and who is tested positive for COVID-19, that we have an isolation area for them.
Students, faculty, and staff will receive wellness kits containing a reusable face covering, hand sanitizer, and a digital thermometer.
Thanks, Jordan. And across the river, the University System of Georgia is investigating the Department of Theater at Columbus State after allegations of racial bias. Right now, an investigation team is interviewing students, alumni, and faculty. That's according to the CSU Director of University Relations, Greg Hutchison. Hutchison releasing a statement on behalf of the university saying in part, quote, Columbus State University is profoundly troubled by reports of racial inequity and bias in our theater department. Providing students with an engaging and inclusive academic experience is among the university's core values, end quote. It is unclear at this time what allegations led to the request for a formal investigation. Read the full statement from CSU Department of Theater students and alumni on WTVM.com. And just one day after receiving a $50,000 donation from Wells Fargo, House of Heroes is back in action. The organization works to give back to veterans who serve their country through actions and service. Today, they're partnering with the Church of the Highlands this morning to fix up a Crawford home for two veterans. Sandra and James Geddes met at Carver High School. Sandra served 15 years in the U.S. Army, James 23 years. House of Heroes will dedicate a flag to the couple at noon today in honor of their service. And we are looking for some local heroes. Let us know who's making a difference in your community. During the month of July, we're honoring a man who left a lasting legacy in the Fountain City.
Hello, I'm Charles Head, President and CEO of APCU. Every day in the Chattahoochee Valley, we have citizens do extraordinary things and serve as an example to our community. The kind of heroes who affect those around them or sacrifice for those in need. We feel that heroic action should be recognized. That's why APCU is proud to sponsor Hometown Hero.
On July 4th, 1944, Primus E. King, an African-American barber and minister, attempted to vote at the Muskogee County Courthouse in the Democratic Party's primary election. King, a registered voter, was roughly turned away by a law enforcement officer. With the encouragement and financial backing of local activist Dr. Thomas Brewer, Primus King filed suit in federal court in Macon, arguing that excluding black voters was unconstitutional. The court ruled in King's favor, as did the U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals, ending Georgia's whites-only primary. King's challenge eliminated the legal barriers to black voting in Georgia's state and local elections, and set in motion a statewide black voter registration campaign that helped end disenfranchisement and the system of Jim Crow discrimination. APCU and WTVM recognize Primus E. King as this month's Hometown Hero and donate $500 to the NAACP Defense and Educational Fund in his name.
Do you know someone who's a hometown hero? If so, visit WTVM.com/Hometown Heroes to submit a nomination today.
Sponsored by APCU, people helping people, continuing a tradition of service. From WTVM Storm Team 9, home of the exclusive, always live News Leader 9 Mobile Alert Center, sponsored by Headquarter Nissan, here is meteorologist Hannah Sims.
Well, sunny skies across the Chattahoochee Valley as we look out over South Columbus on our Alpha Insurance Skycam this morning. Already 81 degrees, but feeling like 84 when you factor in all that humidity out there. Looking at satellite and radar, not much to talk about, not even any clouds really to look at close to home, but we are watching post-tropical storm Faye. It lost all of its tropical characteristics and has become a post-tropical cyclone, moving into Canada this morning actually, and it will continue to track towards Canada over the next day or so. Taking a look at our futurecast close to home though, getting hot as we get into the afternoon hours. Not much cloud cover coming in, making for nice, beautiful sunny skies for your Saturday. Much of the same on Sunday, but as we get into Sunday afternoon, a disturbance starts trying to push its way into the Chattahoochee Valley. So let's look at that a little bit closer this morning. Some disturbances pushing into Mississippi and Alabama tonight into tomorrow, but tomorrow afternoon, seeing some more rain cover across the Chattahoochee Valley. For today, nice sunny skies, high around 96. It's going to be hot though, and if you're going to be outside, you need to make sure you have your sunscreen and your water to help stay hydrated. Much of the same tomorrow, high around 96, a slightly higher rain chance, so we could see a passing shower or two in the afternoon hours tomorrow, but as we get into Sunday night, that's when that rain chance really starts to kick up to a 40% coverage, and Monday a little bit warmer and a little bit higher rain chance rather at 50%, cooling us off a bit, but after Monday, getting right back into those hotter temperatures, highs in the mid to upper 90s across the valley as rain chances drop and become more typical for the Chattahoochee Valley in the summer when that heat just continues to dominate as high pressure begins to build into the Chattahoochee Valley. Samantha?
Thanks so much, Anna. The Alabama Law Enforcement Agency is releasing their reports from the 4th of July weekend. Troopers investigated 8 deaths, 2 drownings, 6 car crashes. None of those happened here in the Chattahoochee Valley. Nearly 40 people were arrested for driving under the influence. And in the Peach State, the 4th of July holiday is always a dangerous time to be out on the roads. The Georgia Department of Public Safety reported 16 people were killed on the roadways during the 4th of July travel holiday period. That travel period was from 6 p.m. July 3rd to 11:59 p.m. July 5th. State troopers arrested over 300 people for driving under the influence. And we're about 3 days out from Alabama's primary runoff election, and county officials are taking steps to make sure voters are safe at the polls. Our Lydia Nussbaum tells us what changes you may see while voting.
Alabama counties have spent thousands of dollars to make voters feel safe at the polls.
I feel like we've done a good job doing that.
They've bought items including masks, gloves, and hand sanitizer.
But our workers are going to do what they can to provide some distancing markers for those people.
Every polling location will look a little bit different. In Autauga County, they will have sneeze guards.
So that's going to protect the poll workers and the voters. We'll have hand sanitizer readily available.
At some polling locations, they'll give you a clean pen so that you can vote with it. And then you'll take your pen, you'll drop it in a bucket so it can be sanitized. Voters will also not be turned away from voting if they are not wearing a mask. The Secretary of State's office said it is clear that state law does not allow for an individual's qualification to vote to be contingent upon the wearing of a mask or face covering.
And I think that this runoff is going to be our test case for getting ready for a general.
Probate judges plan to use this election as a learning lesson.
This is everybody's first rodeo when it comes to running an election in the era of Corona.
In Montgomery, Lydia Nussbaum, WTVM News Leader 9.
Thanks, Lydia. We'll be right back after the break. Pet photos, well, we know you got them. They're probably taking up most of the space on your phone. Here are some of my fur babies right here. Today is the day to share the pictures of your pets. It's National All-American Pet Photo Day. It's a day to celebrate those cute pet pics and share them for the world to see. You can show off your pets on social media with the hashtag All-American Pet Photo Day. And I know you got some fur babies at home as well.
Yes, I do. I love those babies. They're probably sleeping off the Zoomies they had at 4:30 this morning when I was getting ready. I can't wait to post them later on my Facebook page so y'all can see them at home.
Awesome. Let's get one last check of that weather.
Yeah, and it's going to be a hot one, and that heat's not really going anywhere anytime soon. Rain chances jump up a bit Sunday night into Monday, but not cooling us off much, still staying in the 90s on Monday. And as we get into next week, high pressure builds in, giving us a nice ridge effect, keeping us very hot across the Chattahoochee Valley.
Anna, thanks so much for joining us on News Leader 9 this morning for breaking news and weather 24 hours a day. Stay connected on our WTVM.com or our mobile app.